Hello, guys. As I mentioned in the last set of notes, I would go over the answers with you later. So I am now going to go over the answers. I'm going to treat this just like I would in class, where I usually kind of go over stuff with you guys, and then I go over those questions I asked. So first things first, the lymphatic system, just to recap, remember that it's a series of all these vessels that are very similar to veins because they have those valves that push fluid that was lost during internal or external respiration and brings it back up to the heart. And when it does, it also filters for any foreign invaders or pathogens. Remember that pathogens are those foreign invaders that enter your body, and they can be those viruses, bacteria, fungi, and protozoans. The job of the lymphatic network, again, recap, like I just mentioned, it filters that fluid that was lost back into the circulatory system by transporting it back to the heart. And then it also prevents edema by doing that, because if we didn't have the lymphatic system, that fluid that was lost during internal or external respiration is just going to sit there in those areas of the body, and that's not good. We don't need that edema. Okay, so the first diagram that I gave you, what did you guys think was number one? Number one would be the lymphatic vessels. And really, I could point all over this diagram. Lymphatic vessels here, lymphatic vessels here, 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 here. They're all over the place. So really, that could be anywhere in this diagram. Okay, two, I'm calling lymph nodes because that is pretty close to the groin region. So you do have a accumulation of lymph nodes here in the groin. You also have accumulations in the armpit, and you also have in the neck as well. So technically, and I would honestly, on your diagrams, label lymph nodes here, here, and then here. All right, and then we have three. Hopefully you guys realized, was the spleen. Remember, that's the reservoir for blood. While blood filters through it, it holds excess blood, and then it also checks for foreign invaders. And then 4 sits right on top of the heart. The thymus gland, remember, that is the very unique organ that creates your T cells, but it only does it up until you're a young kid, you're a child, and then it stops working. So because it's not doing its job anymore, it doesn't need to really be there, so it slowly starts to shrink. So as you get older, your thymus gland gets smaller and smaller. Okay, then we had the ducts that filtered into the heart themselves. You had the right lymphatic duct and you had the thoracic duct. So the obviously you would assume that, remember, you're looking at this diagram as if they are standing in front of you. So that means your left side is actually their right side, and your right side is actually their left side. So that means if it's right lymphatic duct, then it would have to be this one here. And it does not cover as much area as the thoracic duct. So obviously then this would be the thoracic duct here. Okay. And remember, the function of the ducts is to take in all the fluid that has come from the lymphatic vessels and then transport it to the heart itself. Okay. No, not that one. All right. Okay, arrange the following lymphatic vessels in sequence from smallest to largest, or most distal to most proximal within the lymphatic system. Okay, so distal to most proximal, kind of talking about, like, if you're talking about fingertips to, like, closer to the heart, basically. So we would go, what do you think? Lymphatic capillaries to lymphatic vessels to the collecting ducts. Yeah. Okay. Numerous lymphatic vessels merge to form collecting ducts. What prevents lymph from flowing back toward the blood vessels? Remember, they're like veins, so they contain valves. Which lymphatic duct empties into the left subclavian vein? The key word there is left. Thoracic duct. Very good, guys. All right. I added this diagram in just because I liked it so much, and with what we're going to be talking about next, we're going to be talking about acquired. So it's just a good diagram that really dissects out the immune system. So we've been talking about innate or non-specific forms of immunity. Remember, you had the mechanical and the chemical barriers. Excuse me. So the physical barriers, these are all the skin, mucous membranes, those are your mechanical barriers. And you had saliva with the lysozymes, the flushing action of urine and tears, the stomach acid, remember the pepsin, then the bloodborne, these are more chemical, the complement proteins. Let's this thing move? Okay. Complement proteins, you also had the phagocytes. These are all the different types of phagocytes and how they all kill foreign invaders. So acquired immunity, that is specific immunity, and I'm going to get into that in the next PowerPoint, but it is divided up into the cell-mediated and the humoral immunity. Again, these are specific types of immunity, and basically what that means is once you get infected with something, your body remembers it and it can fight it off quicker next time, and that's what acquired is. So I'll get into that later, but I really like this diagram, and I thought it would definitely benefit you guys as you learn about the immune system. Okay. All right, the following are innate forms of immunity. Identify if each is a first or second line. Remember, we talked about the 3 lines of defense. You had the innate immunity, which focused on the first and second, and then your acquired immunity is going to be the 3rd line of defense. So all the ones we talked about with these set of notes were first or second line. So skin, what do you think it is? It's first line. Neutrophil, that is second line. Fever, second line. Lysozyme, second line. Inflammation, second line of defense. Complement, those are second line. And mucous membrane, that would also be first line. So you can see, obviously, most of them are second line. First line is, again, just your, as it said in that previous diagram you looked at, they're physical barriers. So if it's a nasty little pathogen, it will usually hit the first line of defense pretty quickly. So we have to have a nice backup at that second line of defense. All right, so that is all that we had for today, and we will talk soon.